Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're gonna go rogue.
Ooh, rogue.
Yeah, rogue into the age of apocalypse.
Okay.
You know that alternate Marvel reality
Right.
where Professor X is dead, apocalypse rules?
Yeah.
You all gave us X-Calibre, #1.
Okay.
So not the main X-Men team this time.
Right.
Think like survival, twisted family ties, and just characters that make you wonder,
Yeah.
like, what does hero even mean
Right.
when the world's this bad, you know?
Yeah, this story uses Genosha in a way you probably haven't seen before.
Oh, really?
You know, forget the whole mutant nation thing. This is Havoc's playground.
Okay.
All techno-organic wasteland.
Wow.
Ruled by, one of Apocalypse's horsemen.
So we've got a pirate mystic Nightcrawler.
Oh, yeah?
Sword and sorcery and all that.
Huh.
Sabretooth's along for the ride, but
Oh, yeah.
surprisingly, maybe heroic.
Maybe.
And then, of course, Mystique,
Excellent.
Nightcrawler's mother, slippery as ever. But her loyalties are a whole mystery.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, big time.
And, keep in mind Destiny.
Oh,
The blind precog mutant, her Red Dawn visions.
yeah.
Huge.
Okay.
Not just for this issue, but for, the whole Age of Apocalypse.
All right, let's dive in. For
Yeah.
those who maybe need a refresher.
Yeah.
The Age of Apocalypse. This all kicked off because Charles Xavier's time-traveling son, Legion,
Right.
tried to kill Magneto.
Yeah.
Huge misfire.
Huge.
He kills Xavier instead.
Oops.
Yeah. Basically gives Apocalypse the opening he needs to
Yeah, just take over.
take over North America.
Yeah.
It's like a dark mirror to the Marvel universe
Exactly.
that we're all used to.
Right.
And Genosha, usually a safe haven for mutants, is now the opposite.
Total opposite.
Imagine like a landscape warped by tech, ruled by havoc with zero chill.
Done.
Right.
Yeah.
Warren Ellis, the
Yeah.
writer,
Right.
he's known for that bleak,
Yeah.
cynical style.
Oh, yeah, he's in his element here.
So he's in his element.
Totally.
And then Ken Lashley's art just adds to that feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
Like his style is all heavy shadows, chaotic action.
Yeah.
It makes the whole comic feel
almost claustrophobic.
claustrophobic.
Like there's no escape.
Yeah, like no escape from this oppressive reality.
Right.
It's intense.
Yeah, what I find really interesting is, you know how Ellis flips characters?
Oh, okay.
Like Nightcrawler, Sabretooth on their heads.
Oh, interesting.
Right. Like Nightcrawler, he's a pirate using his powers just to survive.
Right.
Not to be like some goody two-shoes,
Yeah.
He straight up says,
What's he say?
"We are thieves, not saviors."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
Yeah. Long way.
From the swashbuckling hero we see in like the 616,
Yeah. Totally.
It makes you wonder if just being in this environment
Right.
can actually change someone.
Right.
Like fundamentally, even someone as devout as Nightcrawler.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, right?
It's great.
And then you've got Sabretooth.
Oh, yeah, Sabretooth.
Usually he's just savage, bloodthirsty,
Yeah.
straight up villain.
Right.
But here, there are these moments where he shows,
What's like,
well, I hesitate to call it heroism,
okay.
but it's definitely something more than just animalistic brutality.
Yeah.
There's this sense that he's got a code,
Oh, okay.
however twisted it might be.
So is this Sabretooth capable of good then?
Maybe, I don't know.
Or are we just seeing things because the world's gone sideways?
Could be it too, right?
Yeah, is his brutality like an asset to the team? Or is it just him being him?
That's a good question.
I know, right?
Something to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, of course, there's Mystique.
Oh, Mystique.
Always a wild card, right?
Always.
Working angles.
Yeah.
Here she is, supposedly helping Nightcrawler. But,
Her true motives.
yeah, her true motives are completely obscured.
It creates this like underlying tension
Oh, totally.
in every scene she's in.
Yeah,
Especially given, her history with Nightcrawler.
absolutely.
Their dynamic is so fascinating.
It really is.
Like the absence of Professor X as this like guiding figure,
Right,
it really seems to have impacted them.
for sure.
How much can Nightcrawler trust Mystique
Oh, good question.
in this situation? How much should he?
Right.
I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
Well, I mean, that lack of trust, that's at the core of their whole relationship, right?
It's true.
It's built on manipulation, abandonment,
Yeah.
as much as it is on any sort of familial bond.
And speaking of tricky figures,
Oh, yeah.
let's not forget Destiny.
Right, right.
They're risking everything to get her out of Genosha.
Mm.
And her visions, this Red Dawn thing,
Red Dawn, yeah.
suggests she holds the key. The key.
To maybe possibly undoing all this.
Potentially.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So to sum up, we've got this team led by a morally compromised Nightcrawler.
Right.
Venturing into a hellish Genosha.
A very hellish Genosha.
To grab a mutant.
Yes.
Whose visions might be their only home.
I'm hooked already.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And all this plays out in Ken Lashley's art.
Oh, yeah.
Which is perfect for the story.
It is.
He uses these harsh lines. Lots of shadows.
Oh, such a shadows, yeah.
Sickly color palette.
Yeah.
Like lots of greens and oranges to really sell that dystopian feel.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Even Nightcrawler looks different.
Oh, totally.
Gone is like the bright swashbuckling costume.
Right.
Here he's all like cloaked and scarred, looking almost demonic.
Yeah, it kind of fits though, right?
It does fit. He is a darker character in this story.
Uh-huh.
It's not just his appearance. It's like his outlook.
Yeah, his methods, his whole way of thinking. Yeah. Lashley's art just captures that perfectly.
Totally.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it like, complements Warren Ellis's writing style too, right?
Yeah, how so?
Like there's this mix of cynicism, dark humor, and then these like sudden bursts of action that really pull you in,
Right.
It almost like foreshadows his later work, like The Authority.
Oh, okay.
The way he portrays these characters, like powerful but morally complex figures.
Fun fact, did you know Ellis once described X-Calibre as Mad Max with mutants?
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean...
That about sums it up, you know? A fight for survival in a world gone insane.
Right.
Where, like, the lines between hero and villain are...
Blurred, yeah. Totally.
And the fate of, like, reality hangs in the balance.
It does. It does.
Yeah, it's great.
So, we've set the stage. Bleak world, darker versions of familiar characters, and a mission that could change everything.
Right.
But of course, things don't go as planned.
Oh, of course not.
What kind of story would that be?
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
That'd be boring.
Boring, yeah.
Welcome back to our deep dive into X-Calibre #1.
Okay. Yes.
When we left off, our team's like deep in Genosha, facing down Havoc's forces, and, still wrestling with this whole Mystique thing.
Yeah, like how much can we trust her?
Exactly.
It feels like the deeper we go, the more questions we have.
Right, like Ellis is playing with us,
Literally.
dropping these little hints about her loyalty, but never really giving us a straight answer.
And it's working, because I am hooked.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It's such a good way to just, like, keep that tension going.
It keeps you guessing, right?
Yeah.
Like, is she going to bail on Nightcrawler?
Right.
Or, is she playing some deeper game?
Ugh, it's driving me crazy.
And it really adds to that whole, like, messed up relationship.
Oh, totally have going on.
We talked about their history, right?
Yeah, all that trauma.
All the trauma, yeah.
But how much of that, is shaped by Xavier being gone?
I was just thinking.
He's like this father figure for so many mutants, this guiding force, Yeah. Without him, it's like...
Like they're adrift.
Adrift,
They're clinging to each other.
Out of necessity.
More than, like, actual affection.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, Xavier's absence, it's created this void. They're both trying to fill it in their own ways.
Like, Nightcrawler's got his weird, dark magic thing.
Right. And Mystique's just doubling down on all the deception.
It's a mess.
It is a mess, yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, would they have turned out differently?
If Xavier had been there.
Yeah, if he'd been around to, like, guide them.
It's possible, right?
Totally possible. But let's not forget.
Oh, yeah.
The other wild card. Sabretooth.
Oh, Sabretooth.
We talked about those moments of...
Egoism.
Well, I still don't know if I call it that, but...
Okay.
There's that scene where he shields Nightcrawler.
Oh, yeah, from the attack.
Yeah, he throws himself right in the line of fire.
I was shocked.
Right. Risking his life for a teammate.
And it's Sabretooth. Like, I did not see that coming.
Especially given, how brutal he usually is.
It makes you reevaluate everything you thought you knew about him.
It really does.
Like, is that genuine selflessness?
Maybe.
Or is it just another angle he's playing?
I don't think Ellis gives us an easy answer,
Right.
But I think it speaks to the idea that even in a world like this, as messed up as the Age of Apocalypse, there's still the possibility for. Like,
For good.
well, for something unexpected.
Okay.
Something that looks like compassion, sacrifice,
That's interesting.
It makes you think maybe even Sabretooth isn't totally beyond redemption.
Maybe. Maybe not.
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But that ambiguity is part of what makes him so interesting.
Correct? Totally agree.
We're constantly having to reassess him.
Right, because we think we know him, but
then he does something like that.
and it throws you.
And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Who is this guy?
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of reassessing,
Oh, yeah.
what about Destiny's visions?
Right.
We haven't talked about those in a while.
How are those developing?
Yeah, as they're getting closer
He
to...
was escaping Genosha.
Yeah, it seems like as things get more intense, her visions get more frequent
Okay.
and more urgent.
Urgent, yeah.
She keeps saying this phrase, Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
And it's clearly, like, important, right?
Right.
A key to understanding how this whole Age of Apocalypse thing might be undone.
Okay.
But the visions themselves, they're still fragmented. Almost like dreamlike.
So we're getting...
Pieces of a puzzle, but we don't know how they fit together.
Not yet.
That's frustrating.
It is.
But also, like, keeps you reading.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. And there's this question that keeps coming up.
What's that?
Fate versus free will.
Ooh, okay.
Like, is this Red Dawn a fixed point in time? Something that has to happen?
Okay.
Or can Nightcrawler and the others somehow influence it?
Change things.
Yeah, change the course of events.
That's a big question.
It is.
And it's not like they have a ton of options here.
Right.
Trapped in this reality.
Surrounded by enemies.
Their only hope is, like, this cryptic prophecy.
From a blind mutant.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is.
But they have to try something, right?
You do.
And then there's the big moment. The one that left me, like, yelling at the pages.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Mystique's betrayal.
That's the one.
Ugh, the tension in that scene.
It's palpable.
You can, like, cut it with a knife.
She makes it seem like she's selling them out to Havoc. Yeah.
I was so mad.
It's a gut punch, right?
It is. Especially after, we saw those little moments of connection.
Between them.
Yeah, between her and Nightcrawler.
Right. However fragile they were.
I thought, oh, maybe they're finally starting to understand each other.
Trust each other.
Yeah, build some kind of trust, but
then, bam.
She pulls the rug out.
It's classic Mystique.
It's brutal.
It is.
But there was a method to her madness.
Right. And this is where, like, the manipulation takes on a whole other level.
Okay.
It turns out all her actions, even the shady ones, were part of a bigger plan.
Oh, wow.
She was setting things up.
What? So she was, like, orchestrating everything.
From behind the scenes?
The whole time?
Yeah, making sure they could escape.
With destiny.
With destiny, yeah.
So she used Havoc's forces against him.
Essentially, yeah.
That is so smart.
It is risky, but it works.
It does work.
But you know what's interesting? It adds this layer of, like, tragedy.
To Mystique?
To Mystique, yeah.
Okay.
See, she does care about Nightcrawler in her own way.
Right.
But she's so used to all this, like...
Deception,
betrayal.
Yeah.
That she can't just, like, be straight with him.
It's like she's trapped.
Trapped in this cycle.
Yeah, and she can't break free.
It's really sad.
It is sad.
But it's also a fascinating take on their relationship.
It makes you think about, like, love and loyalty.
Yeah.
How they can be so messed up.
Especially in a world like this.
Yeah, when everything's gone wrong, it's not always pretty.
It's not.
But it's real.
It is.
So the question remains, right, how much can we ever really trust Mystique?
Good question.
Is it genuine affection?
Or is it just, like, wanting to control the game?
Right. Does she even know the answer herself?
Maybe not.
And they escape, battered, bruised.
But with destiny.
Destiny's safe.
That's what matters.
But, I mean, come on. The fight's not over.
Not even close.
Red Dawn is still out there.
They got to figure out what it means.
And how to use it.
To fight back.
Against Apocalypse.
It's a long road ahead.
And that brings us...
to the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll explore the meaning of Red Dawn. How it connects to the whole Age of Apocalypse story.
Yeah.
And the lasting impacts.
Out of X-Calibre, #1. Stay with us.
All right. Final act of our X-Calibre #1 deep dive. They got out. Destiny's with them. But Red Dawn, that's still a huge question mark. Where do we even start with that?
Well, it's not just like Destiny made it up, you know.
Right, right.
This Red Dawn ties right back to Legion, Xavier's son, and that whole mess he started.
Yeah, trying to kill Magneto, thinking he'd, like, fix the world or something.
Right. But he kills his dad instead, hands Apocalypse the keys to the kingdom. Talk about irony.
Major irony.
And Red Dawn itself. That's Legion's psychic energy, just scattered through time after Xavier died.
Oh, okay.
Destiny, she sees this energy as, like, the weapon they need to beat Apocalypse.
Maybe even more. Maybe reset the whole timeline.
So it's not just about winning this fight. It's like potentially undoing the whole Age of Apocalypse.
Exactly.
But how do they even use something like that? It's not like they can just plug Legion in and, hit the on switch.
That's where X-Calibre links up with the bigger picture. The stuff Destiny tells them. Plus, Mystique working her magic behind the scenes.
Right. Always scheming.
Helps Magneto's resistance figure out how to use Legion's energy. It all builds to that final battle in X-Men. Omega.
So this small team in X-Calibre, they end up being crucial to the whole Age of Apocalypse. It's kind of wild how these stories that seem like side quests have such a big impact.
Makes you think about choices, Like, what if Nightcrawler had given up?
Yeah.
If they hadn't gone after Destiny, the rebellion might have failed.
They're working with, like, scraps of information, faith, and a few weird visions.
But those actions, they have huge consequences.
And it's not just the plot. This issue really makes you think about, like, what does being a hero even mean in a world this messed up?
Right. Nightcrawler's doing things he'd never consider in the regular Marvel universe.
He's stealing, he's fighting, he's using magic. That's kind of creepy, honestly. It's a far cry from, the happy-go-lucky Nightcrawler we're used to.
Yeah, he's lost his faith in every sense of the word.
And Sabretooth, I still can't get over him saving Nightcrawler. Was that real? Was he faking it? We don't get a clear answer, and that's what makes it stick with you.
It throws you off, right? Because we expect Nightcrawler to be the hero, Sabretooth the bad guy. But here, it's all mixed up.
Totally.
Makes you wonder if people can actually change, even in the worst situations.
And Mystique, always keeping us guessing. She's playing everyone, even Nightcrawler. But then there's these moments where you think, maybe she's doing it to protect him, like a twisted kind of love.
It's complex, right?
Yeah.
She's not just evil for the sake of it. She's got her own reasons, her own fears, and maybe even some love for Nightcrawler, even if it's messed up.
It's that combo, compelling characters, crazy action, and themes that really make you think, that makes X-Calibre and the whole Age of Apocalypse so good. It's a scary world, but there's a weird kind of hope in it, too.
It makes you ask those big questions, like, what would we do if everything went wrong? Would we break our own rules to survive? Would we even be able to hold on to hope?
We started asking if this future was inevitable. Turns out it wasn't.
But the fight to change it, the choices they made, those are things that stay with you.
And that's what good storytelling does, right?
Absolutely. Even when the world's gone crazy, one brave act, a moment of sacrifice, it can make all the difference.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Why is this one issue, this little story and a giant event, worth taking a deep dive into?
X-Calibre #1, it shows us the Marvel Universe at its darkest. The stakes are huge, and it's hard to tell the good guys from the bad. It makes us question everything we thought we knew about these characters, about ourselves even. Now, maybe, just maybe, it reminds us that even in the darkest times, there's always a chance for hope, for change, for something good to happen.
So can villains be redeemed? Is there always hope, even in the face of, well, apocalypse?
It's for you to decide.
Until next time, keep diving deep.